Welcome to Leaders on the Rise. I'm Lydia Pierre, founder and CEO of Pierre Branding Group. We help create stories that resonate with audiences to forge unforgettable, unique brand experiences. These stories ultimately become infused with all aspects of the client's branding, thereby turning entrepreneurs into media celebrities by growing their authority and helping them build partnerships with top influencers. We believe that every person has a unique message that can positively impact the world. Stick around to the end of the show. We'll reveal to you how you can be our next guest in 15 to 20 minutes. Let's go. Hello, welcome to Leaders on the Rise. I'm your host, Lydia Pierre, and I'm here with Vikram Raya. Oh, call him Vic. He is a cardiologist. He is a real estate mogul. He has his own personal coaching business. He is just an all-around amazing human being who is helping to make great impact on individuals who are in the medical sector. Welcome to the show, Vic.
Thank you, Lydia. I'm so excited. Let's do this.
Yes. So excited to have you on. I'm telling you, when I read your resume, Vic, I was like, wow, is there anything this man has not done? I mean, you've gone from everything from starting your own institutes to being a doctor yourself to coaching and mentoring other doctors. Wow. I mean, how has that become such an amazing circle for you? An amazing journey.
I mean, my intention was just like, okay, well, when I was a kid, my social studies teacher told me that there's this concept, during the 1400s in Italy, there's these men that were really good at a lot of different things. And, Leonardo da Vinci, Raphael, Michelangelo. I'm like, oh, cool. Well, why are they so special? Well, they were good at math, science, sculpture, painting, artistry. I'm like, man, those are amazing people. They're called Renaissance man. I'm like, and then something in my mind's like, oh, that would be cool to do. And then there's this whole thing now, like, get super specialized, be good at one thing. And I'm like, all right, I tried to do that. But in my heart of hearts, I just had this itch to do more, And so over time, I try to learn things that I was interested in, I was passionate about. And so, medicine, where did that come from? Well, I had 6 people in my family die of heart attacks. And that was pretty serious. I was like, all right, well, I need to learn medicine. I need to figure this out. And then, I didn't want to be having the handcuffs that many people have with their job or profession, where they're high income but low net worth. Mm-hmm. And I was like, all right, well, I don't want to if I stop working, I'm done. I'll be putting my family at jeopardy. How do I create income outside of working? Right. How do I stop trading, units of time for units of money? And that's when I learned about passive investments. And so I tried doing stocks. I got my butt kicked. And then I went into, I was like, well, real estate makes sense. It's been around for 5,000 years. I think it's going to, be around for 5,000 more perhaps. So let's do that. So I learned real estate, did single family, then I got into multifamily, and I created this company, Viking Capital. And then I was like, all right, I also want to go beyond the typical doctor, like stethoscope, pills, diagnoses. All right, diagnose and adios. No, I was like, no, let's go deeper. Like, how to actually take someone and reverse their disease and optimize it. So then I learned something called functional medicine and integrated medicine. I created a whole institute based on that called the Vitology Institute. And then during COVID, what happened was my medical clinic was essentially shut down by the government because they're like, you can't see patients because of COVID. So I tried to go online. So I had to learn about marketing. I had to do all this stuff. And it was great. And I did it. But I was like, man, I'm just doing a lot of different things. Maybe I need to focus a little bit. And so I transitioned to doubling down the real estate. And then a new opportunity came across my plate. It was like a lot of doctors are scared during the pandemic. They're worried about, my job's not as secure as I thought it was. Hey, this hospital's cutting my salary. Hey, I'm not as my surgical centers got shut down. I can't, or I'm not allowed to do procedures. So they were really looking for guidance and mentorship, and they happened to see me or hear me on a podcast perhaps. And they're like, I'd like to work with you. And I'm like, well, I can talk to you on the phone, but I don't really have anything to give you. And one thing led to another. And I started creating this, mentorship similar to what you have. You have a amazing consultants, this one-on-one coaching where you help these people create like corporate images. You you create a plan for them to have fun in business again. And so my goal is, how do I get doctors to have fun in life again? And so my goal is, let me take good doctors and make them extraordinary. And I love that. So now I'm sort of at this nice crossroads where, I get to travel the world. I get to spend time with my kids and my family. I'm doing all different businesses that I love. And all of it is about income and impact.
That's amazing. And I mean, talk about coming full circle. I mean, you're doing everything that you described. It really helps to position anyone that you're working with to be able to not only enjoy their life, but know that they have a sense of security, even in the hard times, because COVID was a big wake up call for a lot of people who thought, because growing up, if I can just be honest, growing up, you're taught to either be with a doctor or a lawyer or become one yourself, doctor, lawyer, engineer. Those were the three things, like no matter what, you had to either become or marry in order to have security. So
Lydia, I want to play on that. So my parents told me, either you're going to be a doctor or a lawyer or a loser. So they're like, you don't have much option here, right? At
all.
And I think what you're doing, what I'm doing, is realizing, look, entrepreneurship, it's not for everyone, but if it's for you, there's so many benefits. And it's, like, I'm the kid that didn't color in the lines, and I'm assuming you're as well. So it's and there's different ways to get involved. Either you can work for your own company, work with someone else in their company, JV, partner, or you can be an entrepreneur, which how to be an entrepreneur inside another company that allows you, like, sort of like Google, for example. They allow everyone, I think they have 1 day a week where they're allowed to work on their own inventions or projects. And that's how Gmail came about, and all these other great inventions. So you can sometimes innovate within a company, so you don't have to be a full-on entrepreneur as well.
I love that concept. And I love that you were able to bring that out and make it make sense for those who might not be able to grasp it. But I think that's an amazing concept, to be able to grow within what might be a bigger or safer space where you could collaborate with others and get some ideas from them. And essentially, it seems like that's what you're creating with all of this ecosystem you've created, essentially, right? Because you have the real estate firm, you have your personal coaching, you have the institute, all those things can work together. It's like you're creating a whole, like a circle around the people who you care for.
And I like to call it the sort of the 5 freedoms. So the freedoms I'm chasing is freedom, right? When I had to boil it down, what am I doing? I'm really trying to just have control, and control is freedom to do what I want, when I want, how I want. But how do I do that? You achieve a financial escape velocity. You're not in this, like, where I need X amount to survive or do something. You're like at the point where you have abundance. And I wanted to create financial abundance. Number 2 was, with that, I wanted to buy back my time. So if I chose to, like, I'm taking Friday off, right? I'm going to take Friday off, and I'm going to do that. Like, I took a month off recently to travel to Italy with my family. I've never taken a month off ever in my life. Like, I mean, maybe when I was a kid and like summer camp, but that was it. So, like, to do those things requires, it's like, how do I create? These are my goals and visions and missions, and you sort of state them and put them on like a board or something, right? Then you reverse engineer it out. And that's where most people stop or get stuck. I actually figure out, okay, I reverse engineer it. Now, actually, what's the thing I need to do today that will help me accomplish that thing for that week, which will help me that thing for the month, which will help me accomplish that thing for the 90-day goals, which will help me accomplish the 1-year goal, which will help me accomplish my 3-year goal, which will help me accomplish my 5-year goal, and then eventually my life goals. Yeah. So you go from this hour to your 10-year goal. And this is golden thread of activity, of skill acquisition, of being of positive utility to your fellow humans around you. Yes. And it's this virtuous cycle.
Yes. And it's kind of like that concept they say of how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time kind of thing. So it's kind of, you have this big idea. And I think that's what scares people. They think they see the big vision, and then they get afraid of it. And they're like, there's no way I can make that happen. But like you said, if you reverse engineer, now that you know where you're trying to go, reverse engineer it so that you can figure out what steps you need to take to get there to that place. And it's a lot easier that way.
Yeah, I want to speak to your listeners about a concept that has really helped me. There's a book called Rocket Fuel. It's by one of my mentors, Gino Wickman. And it talks about there's 2 types of people in entrepreneurship, because I know your podcast caters to these people who are very successful. They've been around for at least 4 to 6 years. And they're smart folks. But to be in business, it's a team sport. And what I've learned is you need two types of people to be successful. You need the big picture visionary who has, the ideas and knows where they want to take the company. They're not necessarily detail oriented, but they have big relationships, and they can come up with the capital, and they can sort of they have the zest, the momentum. They're sort of run by intuition and instinct, and they don't want to get bogged down in details. Then you have their counterpart. We call this person the integrator. This person is very detail oriented. They understand not only the big picture, but they know how to translate that into daily, weekly, monthly tasks. They know how to look at the metrics of projects, the finances of projects. They need to. The visionary will have 15 ideas before breakfast. The integrator will say those 14 are horrible, but I like that one. Let's go with that one. and so this yin and yang of this visionary integrator is what most successful businesses have. Steve Wozniak was the integrator, and it was Steve Jobs was the visionary. Like that. This is what you need in companies. And so, if one of your business owners perhaps has hit like a plateau, it could be because that person's trying to do two roles at once, or maybe they've been put into a role that's not their superpower.
Right. And to speak to that, I mean, I actually went through that myself. And a lot of times you want to, especially as someone who helps people or as a mentor or a coach, a lot of the things that we tend to teach are things we experience ourselves a lot of times, right? So once we make it through, then you're able to kind of look back and say, maybe I could help someone avoid those pitfalls. What are some pitfalls that you've come into that you feel that you're in a position to help someone who's coming behind you to help them watch out for that?
The number one thing is partnerships and collaborations and JVs. So I've been in a lot of good ones, and I've been in some bad ones. And the bad ones were really bad when it happened because it sort of almost derailed us for a period of time. So I was involved in my real estate side in a deal where, it was just too big a deal for us to take down. And we had some partners that we brought on. And we trust them because we went through some kind of mentorship and training, and they were the teachers of that mentorship and training. You're like, oh, who better than your teachers to partner with, right? And we found they had oversold their abilities. They were not that as professional as we thought they were. They couldn't deliver on what their roles and responsibilities are. Also, work styles. We're all about efficiency, quickness, being swift, execute the business plan, get in, get out, move forward. And they're all about pondering, analyzing, paralysis, and just, discussing it till it, the issue becomes serious because you've wasted so much time, and then, act upon it. So am I going to blame them? No, it's our fault. We should have learned that, but we were so young in the business that we didn't know that. So be careful I'd rather you not do a deal than get into a relationship with a person who can slow you down or derail you from that project. And so knowing that things are in alignment, being very clear on who roles and responsibilities. And finally, it's operational control. If it's your project and you're really going to run this thing, do not give up voting rights, operational control to someone who perhaps is not in the same wavelength as you. So they can still be on the deal, but as long as you have veto power and you can really, in the end, your vote is what counts, then you're still okay.
Okay, that's really good advice. And to your point about how you figured that they were great teachers, so they might be able to be great partners. Those who can't teach a lot of times, right? Is that what they say? Those who can't teach. And when we talk about this, again, I'm in the world of branding, so I know how it's about the perception, not always the reality sometimes when it comes to these big dynamic people who speak on big stages and things like that. Sometimes it's a lot about just the production piece, not that they're acting per se, but a lot of it is them putting on a show and a performance. So sometimes you come across that in this space. So to your point, being careful to vet people, do some background checks, ask for references, things that you would do with any job, do it with, with that level of, because that's like a marriage you're going into, no?
Mm-hmm. Yes. And sometimes these deals, 3 to 5 years you're with them. So, and also, you need a team to really succeed, and you need to have for leverage, growth, and scale. You need to work with people. Relationships are the lifeblood of business.
Yes.
And there's a quote I like. It's if your contacts get you your contracts.
Ooh.
So I really like that. So I think that's the key. So build up your powerful relationships, build up your network, right? Build up your connections, and all of that will fuel more business, more productivity, and more projects for you.
You had a lot of gems that you dropped. Let me see if I can remember some of them already. You said when it came to the doctor space, you said you didn't want to diagnose and adios. You said you didn't like doing that. So that's another piece where relationship is important. You also spoke to the idea of high income below net worth. So being able to create a space where you have that passive income so that not only are you making high income on your job, but you are also making that passive income so you have a high net worth. Because like you're saying, you can still be living paycheck to paycheck and be making a lot of money, and it's still paid, especially depending on your lifestyle, right?
Yeah.
So that's different. Yeah. Yes. And then now you just said your contacts are will get you your contracts.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's a new one. I haven't heard that one.
Yeah. So yes, I mean, this is really what it's about. And it's, I think there's three things to be successful. One, getting very clear on your goals. Number two, having a coach or mentor or guide.
Yes.
Who can really help you. And the final thing is a tribe and your environment, like really having this same or higher level people around you always, because the 5 people thought process. And then the final thing is really your environment. Your environment gonna it's empowering, it's pushing you, it's getting you to that next level, or is it holding you back? And your environment includes the people you surround yourself with too.
Yeah, and it takes a level of vulnerability to be aware of those things and be willing to let some of those things go, because there is a separation that has to happen at some point where you separate yourself from those people who you may have grown up with or may have come up with or may have went to school with, but they're not in that same mindset to go to that next level. So you have to be like, am I going to stay with them or am I going to go? And you
can love your family, but choose your friends.
Ooh, that's a good one. Look, you keep dropping them. That's a good one. That's a good one. Yeah. So just to kind of talk about the vulnerability piece that we talked about, in your personal coaching space, working with these doctors in that space, what are some, because I know vulnerability is huge in that space as well. Just with any kind of coaching, it's mindset changing and really you have to be willing to make those changes in order for them to happen. So what are some ways that you recommend people kind of either reflect or allow their vulnerability to help them get to where they need to be, whether it's in business and life, whatever the case may be? So
there's sort of a simple paradigm I take them through. It's called a mind map. And what I do is I sort of visually map out their life. And so we talk about their goals, what their 1, 3, 5-year goals are, what they really want in all aspects. And the main categories are, your health, your fitness, your family, your friends, your finances, your faith, all of that, right? That's all there. And then we talk about, what are you chasing? Oh, I want more free time. Or no, I want more money. Or you know what? I want special moments with my family. Okay, fine. Let's say what you're chasing. And then finally, it's what's the head trash? What's holding you back? What's your limiting beliefs? What are the ants, automatic negative thoughts that keep permeating in your brain and weighing you down? Once we identify those, we're like, are those real? All right. And if they're real, then we can say, like, can we overcome them? Can we eliminate them? Can we challenge them? And then I really build up their team and resources. We talk about all the stuff they have going with them, all the people who are in their lives, the things they've learned, the things that they already have. They have this kind of money. They have this kind of relationship. They have this kind of knowledge. They have this. And so now they're like, man, can some of those tackle some of those limiting beliefs? Oh, and then we come up with a 90-day action plan. And I do this for free for anybody. And it's like about 45 minutes. It's called a mind map. So if anyone's interested, you go to thelimitlessmd.com and you can get that. Or the other way is it's my name, vikramraya.com. Either way, you get to the same website. And my goal is really, let's up level you. Let's figure out what the heck is holding you back. And a lot of times it's just one small thing that the way I think about it is this: if there's a rubber band and it's on your fingers and you have 2 fingers stretching the rubber band forward, there's this one thing that's holding the rubber band back.
Right.
If we just let go of this one little resistance piece, boom, you're going to be launching forward. And that's what's going on in people's life. They're trying to move forward, but there's a resistance with this rubber band, and some one little thought or negative belief system is holding them back. And my goal as a coach is just, let's release that thing and let this person launch.
That is amazing. And on that note, so you said, how do they find you to be able to work with you, especially to get that free mind mapping?
Yeah, we can just go to my name, vikramraya.com, VIKRAMRAYA.com. That's probably the best way. And then, if they're interested in learning more about our real estate company, that's called vikingmultifamily.com.
That is amazing. That is awesome. And you can find Vic on Instagram. You can find him on Facebook. You can find him on LinkedIn. Same name everywhere. So he's kept it same across the board. Very easy to find. He's a cardiologist, high performance coach, real estate investor, and it's limitless. Everything he does is basically limitless. It's basically teaching you how to have a limitless life. I love it.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Vic, for being on the show and for taking the time to kind of share your story and share all the amazing things that you're doing to make impacts in the lives of professionals all around you. I mean, I really respect and appreciate what you're doing, because it's about changing the world around us. And as long as we change the world around us, then we start to impact. It becomes this ongoing kind of ripple effect where now they can change the world around them and then around them. And then before you know it, we're in a better world. So thank you for making the world better.
Oh, thank you so much.
You're welcome. And that is it for today, everyone. Thank you to Vic for being on the show. Again, you can find his information by going to his name, vikramraya.com, and you'll be able to find all the information that you need to lead you to all his other amazing projects and amazing coaching programs that he has for you as well. Thank you so much. Until next time, Leaders on the Rise. Lydia here. Thank you so much for listening to Leaders on the Rise. If you are a successful CEO, founder, C-suite executive, decision maker, successful business leader, or an influential entrepreneur who would like to be on this podcast, please visit peerbrandinggroup.com/podcast to apply. If you got something out of this interview you would like to share on social media, just do a quick screenshot with your phone and text it to a friend or post it on the socials. If you know someone that would be a great guest, tag them on social media to let them know about the show and include the hashtag Leaders on the Rise. I love seeing your posts and guest suggestions. We are regularly putting out new episodes and content. To make sure you don't miss any episodes, go ahead and subscribe. Your thumbs up, ratings, and reviews go a long way to help promote the show, and they mean so much to me and my team. Want to know more? Go to our website, peerbrandinggroup.com, or follow me on LinkedIn and Instagram at LydiaPierre_. Thanks for listening. We will see you next time.